Welcome to Central Georgia Focus. I'm your host, Katelyn Heck. This week we joined Fort Valley State University in celebrating its 2024 commencement of the graduates. Those are finding STEM success through the Cooperative Developmental Energy Program. Since 1993, CDEP has provided more than $12 million in scholarships for students and is a national leader in recruiting minorities and women into STEM careers. And our guests today include Dr. Isaac Crumbly, Associate Vice President for Careers and Collaborative Programs and the Director of the CDEP program. We're also joined by Patrick Harris, Regional Executive for the Georgia Power Company, Macon District, and a 1998 CDEP graduate. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Now we're looking forward to talking about all the success of the CDEP program. First, we want to talk a little bit about both of you. Starting with you, Dr. Crumbly, a little bit of a legend over there at Fort Valley State, almost 60 years.
Right. I came to Fort Valley State University from Alcorn University, which meant I got 2 years there. I came in 1965, and this is my 59th year. I wouldn't have taken any other choice other than being at Fort Valley State University. It's been a great ride.
And you, of course, have impacted so many people during your time there, even renaming of the campus's auditorium after you. What does that mean to you?
Well, you know, it's a great feeling to have people recognize what you've done and they think that it was worthy. And it's having students who've gone through it like that, like Patrick here, it's really very good feeling that you get when you see the success out of the program, particularly successful individuals like Patrick and many others, hundreds of others have gone through the program. So it's a good feeling. I appreciate Fort Valley State University for honoring me.
Well, I know they appreciate you for all of your service there. It's almost 60 years is nothing to laugh at, sir. Now, Mr. Harris, of course, you are a success story of the CDEP program.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about how it impacted you in your career.
Well, CDEP played a central role in providing diversity and inclusion in the energy industry. And not only did they provide educational opportunity, but also opportunity in internships and scholarships, which I was a product of. So in my professional journey, I've been all over the United States based off of the opportunities that Dr. Crumbly and CDEP has provided, even leading me to my current role now at Georgia Power. So I'm a mid-career hire at Georgia Power, but I would not have been at Georgia Power if it wasn't for the alumni, CDEP alumni, Eric McIntyre, who told me about a job there. So when I got in there, started as a distribution engineer, and now work my way up to a region executive here in the Central Georgia area, where I lead a team of external affairs managers over 25 county area to do our external affairs work on behalf of the company.
I think you've done pretty well for yourself then, starting from the CDEP program all the way up to the top.
Yes.
So when the CDEP program started, talk about what the goal was back then.
Okay, so really, I responded to our request for a proposal, or they call it RFP, from the U.S. Department of Energy. And they realized, as DOE realized, that minorities and women actually are users or consumers of energy, but not many of them work within the industry itself. So the purpose of it was to increase the participation of minorities and women in the energy industry.
And how has that transformed over the years that the CDEP program has been in place?
Well, actually, for the first 8 years of the program, because it started in 1983, it operated as an internship program, because the focus was how do you get energy industry interested in minority students, and how do you get minority students interested in the energy industry. And so we got the Minority Student Summer Energy Internship Program, and this was the connection between the two, and that lasted until 1992. I realized that while this was going on, that it really needed to be more curriculum focused. And so we converted it into a dual degree program in STEM. And so that's kind of how we got to where we are. In order to do some of those things, we had to connect with partnering schools, universities to provide certain disciplines in energy that's very important, such as the geosciences for oil and gas, engineering for all aspects, health physics, of course, for the nuclear power industry. But Fort Valley State University did not offer those, so in order to get that done, we had to form partnership with partnering universities.
And someone who works in the energy industry now, talk about how important programs like CDEP are.
Yeah, so as you know, in the energy industry, it's not as diverse as you would like it to be. So we really depend on programs like CDEP in order to help us populate some of our employment opportunities in this industry. So we really look forward to partnering with programs like CDEP to bring in interns, co-ops, to make our energy pool more diverse and inclusive.
And are you seeing more interest in some of these STEM and math majors in the CDEP program as the years have gone on?
Yeah, well, I'll put it this way. It's somewhat of a challenge, yeah. But, you know, our program was a 3+2 program, what he went through, which meant that he actually got his first STEM degree at Fort Valley State University in 3 years. So you really got to have an academically talented student in order to do that.
Right.
And so the other disciplines too, like geosciences, engineering, once they finished the 3 years at Fort Valley, they went on to 2 years later to pick up another Bachelor of Science degree. That requires really very bright students. And so Patrick and many of the other students that have gone through the program are very bright, talented. And so that's how the program actually works. And so throughout the years, we've been very successful. And it's some years we're recruiting quite a few, some years we're not recruiting that many, but it depends really upon being able to generate the funding for the scholarships. And of course, many of our supporters are companies that benefit from it, like the oil and gas companies. And you know, their success go up and down, and of course when it goes down, funding goes down. So it's a challenge, but somehow or another we got it done. We are still doing it every day.
And I just want to speak on that because I was at Doc's dedication ceremony. I had the privilege to speak at that. And what I said is Doc is a master recruiter. He gets talent from all over the United States. And I compared him to Kirby Smart from the UGA football team. You know, we got a championship winning team at UGA, and Kirby recruits well. And sometimes he gets those walk-on players, and that's what Doc provided for me. I was a walk-on player. I didn't come in traditional stints, but he allowed me to hang around the program, prove my worth, and get in the CDEP program and get the benefit from it. So he has an eye for talent. He's going to get talent to come to the university, and he's going to create an atmosphere to help them thrive.
From a walk-on to a championship
right.
player. We love to see it. All right, well, you talked about funding. We're going to talk a little bit about some grant funding for the CDEP program and how students can enroll coming up after this short break. Welcome back. Today we're talking all about the STEM career success of Fort Valley State University's Cooperative Developmental Energy Program, or CDEP. We're with the program director, Isaac Crumbly, and the FVSU program graduate, Patrick Harris, who's now with Georgia Power, talking about kind of how this program has evolved. And you're mentioning this is not just for collegiate now. You've really tried to expand.
Yes. Once I was involved in the internship program to get it started the first 8 years, I realized that really it would be more important if we could really turn it into an academic program. And so that's when we converted it into the 3+2 program, 3 years at Fort Valley and 2 years at Partnering University. But as we were doing that, we also realized that we really needed to move back into high school level to serve as a feeder program. So we had people, two individuals who were really recruiting high school graduates like Patrick here, but it's a real challenge. A small school like Fort Valley, and you're trying to get blue chippers like these who are going to Georgia Tech or Georgia is really a difficult situation. So we decided that we would start in 9th grade and bring them through in cohorts all the way through. We knew that we wouldn't get all of the kids who came through the high school program, but we know that we would get some of them. So we actually have a segment of the program that's pre-collegiate, and then of course once they leave there, we got the middle segment, which is the beginning of the dual degree program at Fort Valley State University, and then we got the partnering universities who bring up the third part of the program to provide graduate degrees, a master's to PhD. So I really want to emphasize this segment. So this program, as far as I know, is the only STEM pipeline program that students can enter into in their 9th grade, go all the way through high school in the program, come to Fort Valley State University to complete the undergraduate part, and then go with our partnering universities to come out with a master's or a PhD. So that has really been a challenge to develop this, but we feel that it's really, when you can develop something that is the only one in the nation that can do that, that does it, please, that is rewarding. That is a great feeling.
And I just want to say, from a Georgia Power perspective, a lot of folks think we just sell power and make power, but we also have education coordinators that work out in the community locally. We have Dr. Melissa Middlebrook. She works well with the person on the external affairs team, Scott Cox, and we also see the need to expose children early to STEM concepts, because that would get them interested. And not only that, but we partner with universities such as Fort Valley, and that may expose them to the CDEP program and get them interested in being in that pipeline and ultimately being in the energy industry.
And when you're talking to these students who are younger and you're trying to get them involved in the program, what do you tell them about the benefits of being in some of these STEM careers and energy careers?
Well, first of all, we know that energy jobs are a well-paying job. They're they require a lot of skill, but they're high-paying technical jobs. And so many students, particularly minority students and women, really sometimes don't have access to those kinds of careers. And so, it's great to expose the students, take them to Georgia Power or to some of the other plants, and let them see this, how it really works while they're 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And if we can get that child to, or students to say, boy, I like that, then your job is over. You just need to provide them with the opportunity, because they already now know where they really want to go. And so many minority students and women, when they do pursue STEM, it tends to be kind of on the health side, providing, becoming a doctor or becoming a nurse or whatever the case might be. But they really don't know the great opportunities, job opportunities for individuals who can go into science and mathematics, into the STEM area. Jobs are very lucrative that's there.
And what I would say is, what I like about the CDEP program, Doc and his staff, can't talk about his staff enough.
I know.
They develop the total student. So yes, you're going to get access to education, scholarships, but he's also going to provide interviewing skills, industry tours, like he mentioned, even etiquette training. I mean, imagine me. I already know how to work with a fork and knife, but there's some table settings I don't know about. So when you're getting exposed to leaders of companies, which he has relationships with, you got to invest in the total student, and that's what they do so well with the CDEP program. That's what I appreciated about the program.
That's so great. It goes so far beyond just the textbook and
Yes.
learning about that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Let me give a shout. Thank you for mentioning my staff. Let me give a shout out. My assistant director is Dr. Jackie Hodges. She's been with me for 33 years now. Miss Patrice McGee, who has been with me for 18 years, and Miss Lisa Rashidi has been with me for 14 years. They are fantastic. You know, here I am getting the accolades and what have you, but many of the accolades that I'm getting actually belong to them. I mean, I just really had to give a shout out
Doc,
for them.
I'm gonna save you. We're not gonna forget about Miss Dot, because she's been behind you for
Oh yeah.
for years, doing a great job as he's going from place to place. She's been right there supporting
She
him and the students, and she's just amazing
She
person.
has.
So
She has.
yes, including
You know,
staff. She's part of the staff and extended family.
She's going to get after me, but why does Patrick have to mention that? You know, but first,
We're a team, Doc.
We're a team. Okay, very, very good. But really, for a person who is dedicated 42 years to a particular program, the many ups and downs that I've had to go through actually was shared by my wife and my family. So thank you, Patrick,
Yes.
for mentioning that. And she might not hit me too hard.
I'll catch some of those.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course, it takes a great staff. It also takes funding
Yes,
to have
that's
a
right.
successful program.
That's right.
Talk about how that funding, benefits and what extra things you're able to get to students when you have that funding.
Yeah.
You know, getting the funding is challenging. First of all, you really have to, companies really have to believe in what you're really doing. And you have to perform year after year after year. Sometimes the companies you might make a pitch to the company and they'll say, well, it's a great program and all of that. But we'll think about it. It may be 3, 4, 5 years down the road, and they see that you're continuing to do the things that you said you were doing, and then the funding will come. So we just have to provide a good product, and that's essentially what we do. We got to be managers and good stewards of the funding that we get, and so that's really how we really do it.
Well, we are going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back to talk more about the CDEP program and its success. Welcome back. Today we're talking all about the success of Fort Valley State's Cooperative Developmental Energy Program, or CDEP as we've been calling it. Of course, we've talked about all the accolades and successes of this program. Now people are probably interested, so what do these students need to know if they want to be part of this program?
Well, first of all, if they want to be a part of the pre-college part, because we recruit in both places, they can enter the program through the Mathematics, Science, and Engineering program, 9 through 12. They have to be high achieving students as well. Make the application to the CDEP office, and we will do all the rest of it to see if they qualify. Students don't have to always go through the pre-college part to connect to CDEP. They can come directly out of high school. And so what they really need to do for a scholarship, they need to have an SAT score of 1170 or ACT score of 26. So that's kind of that part. They need to have a minimum GPA of 3.5. But most of our students really are probably 370, 380, or 4.0 that come into the program. So that's kind of how they get into the program. And then, of course, they go on through to partnering universities somewhat later on. I hope I answered that question.
Yes, you did. It was very helpful for students.
Okay.
Hopefully. Now, Mr. Harris, as someone who's in the industry now, Talk about the benefit of working with the CDEP program and what you're seeing as these students are coming up, through the ranks.
Well, the benefit is we get a chance to test those students out, if you will, through internships and co-ops, and they produce for us in their respective areas. So we hire all over the state, of course, and we even have some that goes to our sister opcos in Alabama or Mississippi or anywhere else. So we provide that opportunity, but receive such a great benefit from it because of the great work that they do. They're CDEP students, so we know they're going to do great work.
Of course, the partnerships make a big impact.
That's right.
For this program. Talk about expanding some of those.
Well, it's when we first started out with this program, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention Mr. Davis, James K. Davis. Who actually connected, when I got the RFP from the Department of Energy, I didn't know anyone in the energy industry, and he connected me really to Georgia Power, but also some of the other energy companies. And so I was very happy. That kind of got me going within the state, but it was necessary for me to also expand it nationally as well. So oil and gas, of course, one of my partners, two of my first partnering universities, one was University of Oklahoma, which is in the oil patch. They connected me, of course, to the oil and gas industry. And so that was kind of how we expanded. Now we're working really with the emerging electric vehicle industry. And so we're preparing for that movement as well. And so we got some companies that's out there, particularly in the EV or electric mobility industry, and you want to really get into a STEM pipeline to support the program financially, to help bring these kids in and to provide internships as they're trying to climb the ladder. We would certainly welcome that. I think that's just about it. It's a challenge because it's, we're not Georgia Tech, but Georgia Tech is one of our partner universities. But, we kind of have to prove ourselves when we're out there, getting money. But we got a great track record, so we'll just lay it on the table and say, can you beat this or match it? So we're very happy about that. But it is a challenge always, trying to get funding.
And we don't have a ton of time left, but I do want to ask you, Mr. Harris, what is the biggest benefit you received out of this program?
Well, the biggest benefit is exposure, networking. Those are invaluable. And so what Doc and his staff and the CDEP program has provided has allowed me to flourish in my career. And I cannot thank him enough for providing me, not only me, but the other students in this program, opportunity to make an impact in the energy industry.
And very quickly, for anybody else who's really biting at the bit to register for this program, is there a phone number or a website they can go to get more information? Yeah,
we do have a website. I'm trying to remember it now, which is a kind of a hard thing for me to do. But you can certainly call the main number at the CDEP office, which is 478-825-6243. That will get us. We've had that number for I don't know how many years, 40 years, I believe. But that'll get you moving.
I was going to say what I like to do is go to the Fort Valley website and just put CDEP in the search,
right,
and it'll put you right to the webpage.
All right, well, we are closing up. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you
for such a long career at Fort Valley State and all the students you have impacted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for joining us for Central Georgia Focus.